I wasn't going to do a lesson today, and then I was playing around with this guitar and overdrive, and one of the things I like to do is to play in open E on this particular guitar or my other SG, but with lots of overdrive. It's just a lot of fun. There's a whole bunch of things you can do. I like listening to guys like Hound Taylor, Elmore James, and a few other guys. I like Derek Trucks. Derek Trucks is a far more complicated guitar player than Hound Taylor or Elmore James. But those two are probably my favorite. Open D, Open E, electric slide players is Hound Taylor, Elmore James, J.B. Hutto. I like him. There's a few others. I love Ry Cooder. Anyway, but when you're playing and your guitar is overdriven like this, you really have to be in control, because there's so much overdrive and so much sustain, which one of the things I like about it is the sustain, because you can do a whole bunch of things, and I just think it sounds really cool. But you really have to have control in order for it not to sound like a big mess. And everything sustains forever. And so I just want to show a few licks, and so let's get started. So one of the things that I like to do is you really have to make use of, now I use a thumb pick. A lot of people don't use a thumb pick. You don't have to, especially when you're this overdriven. I don't know what Elmore James used. I know that Hound Dog Taylor, the only pick he used was he had one pick on his first finger. He didn't have anything on his thumb. And I'm always making use of that bass. On the one chord, I'm using this. So you don't have to use any picks. I use a thumb pick though, because I can control it. And so you really have to have your damping down to play, when your guitar is this overdriven. And what I was doing was, I've taught in other videos that this is the 7, so in open D videos I've taught this is the D. So this is E7, so the intervals are the same as open D, only we're a whole step up in E instead of D. So our one chord, we can play between them. There's our E there. A. So 1 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 1 chord. So I play a lot between the 3rd and 5th. And as long as you keep that bass going, going to stay on one chord for now. And I'm using the heel of my hand. Doing there is between the 5th and the 3rd. Doing the shuffle on my 1 chord. You could do it up here at your 12th fret. I'm using my 7th. I'm playing in here in the pentatonic scale. You can bend all around in there. There, I'm just going and hitting the whole thing and then stopping it. Up here at the 7th fret, I was going. You can take that up to take this position here up to the 12th fret where you're at the. That's your B string. It's on the 12th fret. Your 2nd string. Your next one is on the 10th fret. Your 1st string. So you can go all the way down there. You can go. That's a whole half step apart, or no, whole step apart. Half step, you're at the 7th and so you're at the 10th and the 12th, 9th, 10th, 7th, 8th. So you really have to have your damping down. I'm damping with 2 hands, and because I'm making a video, you can hear my dog in the background. Every time I make a video, he's got to get in there somehow. So I'm damping with both hands. So you can mute it a little more. So there all I did was go. So in between the 3rd and the 5th, you can go. That's another E chord there. So you can play around in there. Okay. I'm doing a lot of with these two. With the slide. And here I was just sliding down on these two strings. But you really have to damp to make it sound right, but I'm gonna just to show you. Before I went into my 4-chord. Okay, so I would be going. And I'm accenting when I'm playing the rhythm part. Going. And you can do it with your first finger. You can do it on these strings. You can do it on these strings. And sometimes I'll do that where I'll go. I think I learned that from Elmore James, maybe not. I picked it up from one of them guys. And there I'm just using the chord as the scale. So I'm just going. So just practice, with the heel of your hand there too. And so when you're damping, you're kind of just, after you've done it for a long time, you instinctively know when to, like, how to get control. There's a scale for it. I use that a lot sometimes, where I'll just go from the 10, 10, I'll go 10, 12, 12, 10, and then to the 8th fret, and then this is an E note right here, so I'll go. On the 8th, on your 3rd string. And remember, you can bend around on here. Sometimes I'll use this bend. Where I'll take the B string at the 10th fret, I'll bend it up, and then with this same finger, this part of my finger, I will grab it here. Grab the 1st string. And then you can land on the E or whichever one. There's just so much you can do. I could sit here all day. You can go. So like this is the 7th here for your E, E7. I just use these two a lot. It's the same here. the 15th fret. At the 7th, at your 4 chord. It's the same thing at your 5 chord. So you can use all those. So I find that just using your sweeping up with your first finger, because this thing is so overdriven, it's like you don't really have to, it's just a matter of touch and control. You don't have to really dig into it, you know what I mean? So remember your 7th. And as I've showed in previous videos, when I'm on the 1 chord or the 4 chord, I'm using this as my bass, a low E. Okay. And when I go to my 5 chord, I'm using this string, which is now tuned to a B, okay? This is my B chord. So I'm using the 5th as my bass. So I do that on all my chords. Just remember, 1 chord, you're playing this bass, and your 4 chord, you're playing this bass, and your 5 chord, you're playing this bass. Anyway, I hope that helps.